The Bay.
Not Michael.
Not Michael. That's a different kind of bay. Not the good kind.
Not the good one like this.
This was
good.
The Bay is a what is it?
Horror thing.
Horror documentary.
Docu-horror.
Docu-horror thingy.
Docu-horror.
Docu-horrormentary.
Documation horror.
Horrormentary.
Horrormation.
Horrormation.
Horrormentary.
Yeah, horrormentary works.
That's it. There we go. Horrormentary.
Yeah. The Bay is a horrormentary.
Christ. It's going to be one of them, is it?
Yeah. I always describe these things as sort of a Blair Witch-esque film.
Yeah. I think mainly because it's the first sort of... I don't know if it's the first film that did it, but it's the first one ever noticed that did it.
I think the first film that did it was something called The Last Broadcast.
Oh, right, okay.
Have you heard of that?
I have heard of that, yeah.
Which is sort of set in... it was a couple of filmmakers following a trail looking for the Jersey Devil in the US.
Oh, right, okay, cool. I've heard of the Jersey Devil.
I mean,
extensive research into cryptids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that predates Blair Witch, but Blair Witch got all the kudos.
So, like Black Christmas, then?
Yeah, Black Christmas came first, but Halloween gets all the credit.
Yeah, Halloween got noticed.
Yeah. Anyway, The Bay is a Blair Witch type film in the sense that it's got found footage which has been reassembled into a documentary.
To some semblance of a story.
And it's the narrator's at the time
wannabe
reporter. She's doing some sort of podcast thing for a news company
where she spends most of her time running away from the camera in very, very tight jeans,
trousers. Yeah,
which isn't all bad.
No, we applaud the cameraman for
that. Did his job well.
Someone should have told them their trousers were too tight.
I'm not sure they weren't painted on. We're stumbling blindly into the world of the perverted here. That's your remit, though, isn't it?
As is our custom.
Oh, look at them jeans.
So the narrator is this young, at the time, reporter who's doing a podcast for a news company. She's reporting on the 4th of July.
It's for a website, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, it's for
like her own little,
it's
local website.
It's for a news company. She's
okay.
this sort of
I clearly wasn't paying
young
attention.
reporter. Yeah.
I was hypnotised by the jeans.
Oh, God.
Sorry.
So she's reporting on the 4th of July celebrations in this town off the coast.
Chesapeake Bay.
Chesapeake Bay in Maryland.
Which is Maryland, which is, I think, slightly north of New York.
Yeah.
Around there. We'll get loads of Americans going, oh my God, you don't know what you're talking about. Nah.
Is it northern? No.
Yeah, it's New England, isn't it?
I would have thought
it's like New York's kind of,
you sort of
kind of there, and Maryland's kind of, I think, oh shit.
This is
Is Maryland below it now? Yeah, Maryland's down below it.
I'm sure we get some Americans correcting our geography.
Yeah, probably.
Let's just say America and leave it
It's
there.
in America.
Yeah, somewhere in America.
Somewhere in America where they have water.
Off the coast of Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona Bay. But as I said through the film, I was waiting for that to happen. I was waiting like every 5 minutes. I was like, they're just going to nuke the place and make a new like ocean.
but we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
So it follows this reporter in the first instance who's reporting on the 4th of July celebrations in this town.
Yeah, that was supposedly hit by some kind of horrendous
ecological disaster
and the government had covered it up and sort of closed everything down and stolen all the footage and banned it all.
And through a sort of WikiLeaks type website, all the footage is now surfaced and appeared as this film.
Yeah, it's interestingly directed by, is it Barry Levins?
Yeah.
Who did
award-winning
lots of famous films, including The Rain Man, of all things.
Which you wouldn't have thought, looking at this film, that he'd done anything like that.
Good Morning Vietnam and stuff like that, which I was genuinely surprised at.
Well,
it makes sense because most of those sort of docu-horror things are made by sort of not student.
Well, just out of that kind of people with no budget.
It's cheap and affordable, and it's the sort of thing that you can do. But like when you realise how well this is done, that makes a lot of sense. So there's actually a seasoned director, and the guy's been around forever. So you assume it's like a first-time sort of film because of the style it's done in, but it's actually been done by like this sort of full-on, big-time, old-school Hollywood director guy.
But I mean, it's not just that which makes The Bay stand head and shoulders above other docu-horror things like horrormentries. It's actually because the reason this one is so good is because the scenario is so well thought out.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's horrifically believable. I mean, that's what really got under my skin.
I mean, with most things like
intended.
Yeah,
it was generally that.
With most things like this, it's got a supernatural slant or a perceived supernatural slant, which gets debunked over the course of the film.
Yeah,
and it turns out to have some sort of very real, very very human, very normal twist. Or twist.
I think when we tried to record this before and it went wrong, you talked about Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And how there usually tends to be Mr. Raymond from the amusement park wearing a rubber mask.
And that just becomes so predictable after you've seen like 5 or so of these types of films.
Or it's aliens.
It's
aliens. It fell to Earth in a meteorite.
Yeah. Well, the film The Fourth Kind, did you ever see that? That one had...
I wanted to. I saw the trailers and thought, it looks quite freaky.
That had a sort of another found film type edge to it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they had real actors standing in for the... they actually said real actors standing in for...
that's quite good.
The people.
Well,
so it was sort of part found footage, part reenactment.
Yeah.
So sort of...
This is all done from, like, heads-up cameras on police cars and...
The footage taken by the reporters.
Cameras and people who had their phones and skinny dipping teenagers and all that kind of stuff. And it's really nicely done, but it also knows its roots, I think, because like there's a lot of Jaws in there and all that.
Well, you said
stuff.
This is Amity Island.
Yeah,
one point.
I mean the whole opening is. It's like
it's Jaws.
we're not closing the beaches for the 4th of July weekend. We're not doing it
because of the money it brings in.
Exactly, and it's that whole thing. And the mayor is that character. It's like he's well aware.
Oh, he knows
there's something screwy's going on with the bay, and he knows that there's some nasty stuff going on below the surface. But he's not. It's like
he's willing to put people's lives at risk for the sake of coin.
Yeah, for commerce.
The
American way.
Yes.
Well, we're really going to piss the Americans off with this one. We've got all the geography wrong. We don't know where anything is. And we just said they'll basically kill a load of people for money.
Well, that's what they do in movies.
in movies, yeah. Let's make sure I'm sure the
American government's completely trustworthy. They won't think and won't ever even contemplate the idea of wiping one of their own towns off the map. Just to prove
so that's the Koreans you've got after you, and the Americans now.
I'm working through the list. But the film follows this disaster taking place over the course of 24 hours or so. Yeah, and the disaster itself.
Well, it kind of cuts back and forth between stuff as well. Recorded by the scientists trying to figure out what's happening and the CDC.
Yeah, so it cuts to footage that's taken about a month before the incident with a pair of Environmental Protection Agency eggheads looking at fish.
Yeah, cutting up fish.
And finding parasites.
Finding weird things living on them, yeah. Ooh. It cleverly uses real footage as well. I mean, like stuff that's actually, that I've seen on Tinternet web.
Yeah, actual real creatures.
Real animals and actual sort of photos that you'll find just by doing Google searches for certain life forms that do genuinely exist,
and the movie
adds a wonderful level of
reality. It makes it feel a lot more solid.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh hell, I've heard of these things." And I actually mentioned a certain type of creature, and then realised that that's where they were going with it.
That was that thing.
Yeah, that it was what they were doing in the film, and I thought, oh my god. And we'll have less of that.
I mean, we don't.
It's just got worse and worse.
This is one occasion where we don't actually want to go into too much detail because the sort of the reveal or the surprise.
Yeah, in that way that we talked about the cabin in the woods.
Not wanting to give away the twist.
Because nobody I know ever mentions the twist in it, and it's simply out of respect for the film.
Yeah, you've really got to watch it.
Because you just have to watch that film. That's why we'll probably never ever do a discussion of it. Although the unicorn's fantastic.
Yeah. Always the damn unicorn. It's because the unicorn's unexpected.
I know, but I love saying the unicorn because they just don't know whether I'm serious or not. And you won't know till you watch it. So.
You won't get it until you watch it, yeah. People watch it just to say, what unicorn?
What are you on about?
What the hell are they talking about?
It's a slasher film, surely. Say unicorn.
Yeah, it's the plausibility of the bay, the fact that the scenario is so well thought out and solid and believable
thing is, it's just a well-rounded film.
Yeah. It drops in
all
red
the stuff that it needs to do really well.
It drops in red herrings. It drops in red herrings that makes you think it's going to take a nosedive into the absurd.
Into B-movie territory.
But it never does.
At the radiation leak. There's a leak of radiation. You think, oh, man.
You're expecting Godzilla to emerge from the waters.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, what is this going to be? I will say that there is no great big monster.
No,
it doesn't need.
That's
it doesn't
good.
need
never,
that.
It never escalates to having
I mean,
giant irradiated tentacles or cybernetically enhanced sharks or anything like that. It's escaped from a military facility.
I mean, the film's actually scarier because it doesn't have that absurd
because there's
element.
none of that, and you just think, shit. That could happen.
I mean, they said with the Jaws tagline was, "You never want to go into the water again, or you'd be afraid to go into the water." I mean, that Jaws.
Did you know? A pointless factoid that's actually Jaws 2.
Is that Jaws 2? Oh,
yeah.
You thought it was safe to go back into the water? Yeah.
The actual tagline for the first Jaws is really crap.
What is it?
She was the first.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense in context. It's not great.
But it's not. Yeah, everybody remembers don't go in the water.
But Jaws never made me scared to go into the water. This film, The Bay, did.
Yeah. In fairness, yeah. I remember kids that were afraid to go in the water after watching Jaws.
I remember there was one kid that was afraid to go into a pool after.
So totally. I'd say that same thing. I remember them screening it on TV years ago when I was a kid, and I used to go to sort of regular swimming lessons, and there was a lad in the class below us, and I remember him literally being paralytically afraid to go in the water. The teacher practically had to throw him in. And he just got straight back out, in tears.
What, was it a pool?
Yeah, in a swimming pool. In a swimming pool. It's not...
Was it
I don't think there's going to be particularly many great whites in there.
And it was because of Jaws?
Chlorine's probably not going to help. Yeah.
It wasn't because he was afraid of just...
No, he'd been going to the classes for years.
But he watched Jaws once.
Yeah, it was literally on the weekend before. I think it was on the Saturday. I can't remember what days we used to go now. It was years ago. But it must have been. It was on a couple of days before. And he was in bits. He was absolutely in bits.
Yeah, it's not the kind of film you want a kid to watch.
I mean, I'll admit, that my friend had it on VHS when we were kids, and he loved it. But he loved the bit at the end. He loved the battle at the end on the boat.
Oh, that was maybe...
And that was the one bit that he used to watch over and over again. So, I went round to his house, and we just watched that bit. And I'd never seen the beginning. And, it used to annoy the shit out of me. I was like, can we watch the whole film?
And he just wanted to watch
And he just wanted to watch the end bit. And then it came on TV, and I watched the beginning, and that the girl gets, chomped at the start. And then it gets up to the bit where they find what's left of her on the beach with the crab scuttling over it. And I remember literally going... Nah, I'm done. I got to that bench when I'm done. I can't handle this. And it is I mean, we're moving slightly off topic, but it's a great display of how to do tension, that film, because they knew they couldn't do the shark well. And it's in the film does fall apart. As soon as you get the big rubber inflatable shark,
it does lose something.
Popping out the water at the end, you're like, oh, okay.
It's like if they...
But all the way up to that bit, when... They just put the shark on the screen with the music or whatever and the underwater camera and things. It's freaking terrifying.
I mean, it's like with Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2, where you've got the force or the evil
that
shooting
thing going through
but you never see it. You just hear the noise and you see that sort of...
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same principle.
The wheelbarrow and the camera on a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. You can't see whatever it is that's coming. You don't really want to.
Your mind fills it in, and And there's a lot of that in the Bay.
Yeah.
You see how I brought it back to topic?
Yeah,
that was good.
bravo.
Yeah. Steered it back round.
But, I mean,
and the Bay, obviously, it knows where it's coming from and it does it well. I mean, there are, little bits in there that are straight out of Jaws. And it's as if Jaws was being filmed with, Handycam and stuff.
I mean, the Bay presents the Bay presents all the clues along the trail of the story.
Yeah.
So it sort of ramps it up gradually, bit by bit.
It does all of the stuff that
it's almost part mystery film, where you're sort of trying to work
even towards the end, you're you still don't really know where it's going. Even when you're pretty sure, even when it's basically told you what's happening,
it gets spelled out to you.
They're told what the things are and what's happening.
But not in any kind of patronising way.
No. It drip feeds at you the whole way through, and you have to piece it together in your head, and you're like, oh, okay. Right, that's what's happening, is it?
So if you're dumb as a post, don't watch the film. You won't get anything.
Yeah, you'll be like, what? But like you do have to kind of like pull it all together from all the different little bits of found footage and everything, and go, oh, okay, yeah.
They do,
but even at the end, you're still not sure whether it's going to do certain things.
Yeah.
I was still wondering whether like other versions of the creature were going to show up, or whether it was going to ramp it up again, or whether the army were going to turn up and nuke the entire town.
It stopped when it should have.
Yeah, exactly, and it just leaves you going,
ew,
yikes! What, you're going to roll the credits there? I mean, in a lot of ways, it kind of has that Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of ending, you know, with Donald Sutherland turns around and just goes.
But it does have there is a sense of closure.
I mean, yeah, there is a
It doesn't.
Don't get me wrong; it's not left on a hook, and you don't feel cheated in any way.
Yeah, it answers all the questions.
In a lot of ways, I was kind of relieved when it ended. I was like, "Thank fuck for that."
Yeah. Well, you just hate body horror in general.
Because I got a problem with things like the ruins and stuff as well. That
body infestation.
Yeah.
The Bay.
So that was The Bay then. Really?
Well worth a watch.
Yeah, definitely. It's one I'd never even heard of. I think it's.
And I knew because you didn't like the ruins that you'd love this.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because I'm a cruel and evil master.
A good 8 skulls out of 10.
8 skulls out of 10. We're not going to start doing rankings in skulls. That's too
I think
cheesy.
we should. Yeah, I think we should. Because it's a whole reference to 1408.
All right. 8 skulls.
8 skulls out of 10.